Greater Good Radio. Connect, learn, heal, and grow.
My tutu, who had just recently passed in August, we're in March now. February 13th, 1916 was her birthday. Oh. So she passed just this past August at 108 and a half.
Wow.
You know, we add the halves when we're kids, not as adults, but when you get old, I feel you have to add that half back in because it means a lot. But my tutu, I was blessed to have my tutu in my entire life up to this point. And I'm 36 now. And 36 years of my tutu's influence in my life has really made a mark for me from a small kid. And because growing up when my parents were working, tutu raised us. So being around her has always kind of, I always give her the credit of, I guess, my interest now because I was always around that, at least from the stories that she would share. And then, as you get older, there's so many other people that start to influence you. It could be a small influence that Pono Shim, I only spoke with him a short amount of time for a couple of years, I think. Mm-hmm. But the small conversations I've had with him, what is your aloha response? That has impacted me so much. And that is something that has inspired me to continue on. But I think the main person or the main thing that has inspired me up to this point has been my tutu.
What's her name?
Marietta Luke Kama. Everybody knew her as Etta, but we knew her as Tutu.
So could you share a story about your tutu that would give us a good understanding of who she was to you?
Oh yeah, I'm actually doing this new series called Tutu Tales, which has actually been, I've only done 2, but people have been loving it. And I love it because I would not be where I'm at with the position I'm at if it wasn't for Tutu.
Okay.
And I say that because I think what Tutu has done was help to give me validity to the public and more credibility. Because if I tell a story and I have a source who's 108 or 100 or 99 at the time, I mean, that's my source. So she helped me to give credibility to the stories that I share. But Tutu has, aside from that, I mean, she's always just been a part of me. I mean, I'm wearing, even this necklace was my first Merry Monarch. Back in 2012, we made a lei with these cupe. And we had extra ones, so we made necklaces out of this.
It's a shell.
So this one, so it's a coupe shell. Uh-huh. And this was mine, but when I visited Tutu one time,
What is a coupe is what?
Coupe is like a
LP or
kind of a mollusk or whatever.
Yeah,
but you go on the shoreline and you see them stuck onto the rocks. Oh. And a lot of times you get all different kind. I think majority of times you go down, you can see they're small black ones. But these ones
like
are
PPP.
Bigger. Yeah, like PPP. Yeah. So these ones are just kind of like bigger ones. But so we made shells, made lei for Merry Monarch that year. So I made this one for Tutu. I gave it to her, and she would always wear it. She never took it off, always on her neck. And then as she was getting older, Tutu, she was very sharp to the very end, but it was at the very end when she really started to get more ornery, whatever that word is. And she had this fit one night, and this was a woven cordage. She cut it off for some reason, and then she put this on, and she knotted it up. And I don't know why. I guess she just wasn't a fit. But when she passed, my uncle them who were taking care of her, they say, I think Tutu would want you to make the decision what you wanted to do with it. If I wanted to leave it with her in her casket, which I spoke to her, I was like, Tutu, I would give this to you, but I want to keep it for myself because I want your mana with me, So this is something I always carry.
If you resonate with Greater Good Radio, please join our community at www.greatergoodradio.com, where you can get access to exclusive content and offerings. Hope to see you soon.